difficult. People are crying here and then. Is that how it's supposed to be?
The question on the minds of Nigerians after President Tinubu announced the removal of fuel subsidy. With over 130 million Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty, the resultant soaring cost of living has left many struggling to make ends meet. Sadly, the salaries of most civil servants have not been increased except for few states. Some others are yet to implement the minimum wage. Several car owners have had to cut down on the liters of petrol they buy, while others have resorted to picking up passengers on their way to work to make up the cost of buying fuel. This commuter says he has to pay more to get to work every day.
Our job actually requires like lots of movements. Even this morning we were talking about location, moving from one location to other. Today I had to pay almost 700 naira from Kubwa to Barnex, and that's very, very preposterous.
For you to pay 700 naira from Duse or Kubwa, as is to here, you know what it takes. How much is the salary of people?
I reach here to sell my food. I discovered that all the people that have been coming here to eat food, none of them are here to eat food because of running to buy fuel. And at the end, the fuel have increased the price from where the initial price to the price that they cannot afford now, even to eat. They are finding it difficult.
Though the removal of fuel subsidy has been hailed by some experts as a move in the right direction for Nigeria's economy, the organized labor and civil rights groups have continued to demand that the government provides palliatives and welfare programs to cushion the effect of the policy. This is in addition to prioritizing the rehabilitation of the nation's refineries.
Is government ready to pay ×3 of the current minimum wage? That is one. Is government ready to increase money to the education sector ×3? Is government ready to expand infrastructure the way it is right now ×3? Because if you have tripled the cost of this commodity, PMS, and you are getting these resources, what is your pact? What are you telling Nigerians?
I believe Nigerians engineers can fix it. If Nigerians take this matter serious, call them to go to that refinery, they will fix it. We have machines in Nigeria that can assist them to get local listing and fix that place, instead of all depending on foreigners. Every time, billions of naira spent, billions for how many years now, on one refinery. Look at what it's doing to us today.
In the next few years, Nigeria stops fuel importation. And that is why we're here, to see the extent of work done. And we're satisfied with what we have seen here. From what we have seen here, Port Harcourt will come on board by the end of the year. Wari will start by the first quarter of next year. And then Kaduna will come on stream towards the end of next year. If we add that together with Dangote Refinery, we'll be able to, stop fuel importation that is taking, substantial part of our forex.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says Nigeria has witnessed a 30% decline in fuel consumption following the removal of petrol subsidy by President Bola Tinubu.
We used to do 66.7 million liters as at 29th of May. And as we speak today, we only do about 46 million liters of consumption in the country, or evacuation. By the way, this figure includes cross-border leakages, and I must admit this, but this is the reality that we are dealing with. Even at that, we have seen 30% decline in the total volume of PMS that is consumed in this country. This also means reduction of 30% of foreign exchange requirements.
The Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, had reacted after the President's pronouncement that subsidy payment was no longer sustainable as it hinders the company from funding its core businesses.
As at the time Mr. President took over, May 29 to be precise, we are actually at the point of default, and NNPC was facing imminent illiquidity. This is because we keep carrying the subsidy burden. The Federation, that means all the subnationals and the federal government, are unable to pay their bills for the subsidy. That means NNPC was carrying the subsidy burden for the whole federation until it became very obvious by the time Mr. President took over that it is no longer possible to proceed.
Experts and stakeholders have consistently emphasized the need for alternative sources of energy aside fuel. For instance, focus has now been on the use of compressed natural gas to power cars.
It has very little amount of carbon, so it does not burn more carbon like petrol. So it's prolonged the lifespan of your engine oil. So if you are the type that services your engine every 1 month, you might have to be servicing maybe 2 months or 3 months because you are using your C engine, and it has no negative effect on your engine. So it's as good as clean energy.
But how many Nigerians can afford to convert their cars to CNG, with the cost put at over 400,000 naira? The fact is, the removal of subsidy had increased the economic difficulties Nigerians had been battling for years, and there was no immediate measure put in place before or after the president's announcement. What will be the fate of millions of Nigerians who already spend triple the usual amount for food, transportation, and other basic necessities? Will the federal government heed demands for increased wages? As the present administration clocks 100 days in office, the onus lies with the Tinubu administration to provide measures that would lift the burden off the shoulders of vulnerable Nigerians. Sadly, the administration does not appear to have figured out yet how to do this. Georgina Ndukwezaika, Arise News.